All right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Coffee Q&A, your daily dose of coffee Q&A. I'm Jay, your host, and we're here most Monday through Fridays, 10 a.m. Eastern time. You'd think after 490 episodes, I'd be able to say that a lot smoother. So how's it going? It is December 1st, and for those of you who joined us for the very first time, we do this live stream most Monday through Fridays, 10 a.m. Eastern. And if you're watching this on the replay, come join us when you have a chance. Q&A's with us. What's going on, Q&A? And Kent, how are you guys doing today? Good to see you. So here in the United States, we had a holiday called Thanksgiving last Thursday. And Thanksgiving is a big holiday here. It's pretty much the biggest holiday of the year. It is the one holiday in America where people actually care about their families. I mean, to the point where they're going to travel to family members to see them. They won't do that during Christmas. They won't do that during Easter. They won't do that during the other times of the year. But for whatever reason, this time of year, they want to do it. So all the travel in America happens this past week. And it's a good time. It's a good time. Now, you know, it's an auspicious occasion here in the United States. Like one of my really good friends, he does not celebrate Thanksgiving because, you know, he's Native American. And basically, it's the celebration of the genocide of his people. So yeah, I get that. And, you know, there's a lot of hegemony that this holiday celebrates that I know a lot of people are uncomfortable with. But however, in my particular world, being Filipino, we were not taught the hegemony of the American in our history, even though it's there. So, you know, Filipinos go along with it. But anyway, well, what's the big thing? You know, it's a food holiday, right? So the big thing with Thanksgiving is that we want to eat. We get together, we're going to eat. And Power Plants with us, what's going on to you, man? How are things? One of the big things that I really enjoy about Thanksgiving is the food, right? So I typically will make the turkey for the family, right? And so over the years, we've done a lot of different types of turkeys, a lot of it being roasted, of course, in the oven. I want to say we did one year spatchcocking, but maybe that's not true. I mean, I've done spatchcocking with chicken, but as I was preparing for this year's cook, I was reading up on different things, and like, you know, I see a lot of people talk about spatchcocking, you know, I'm like, you know, spatchcocking is cool, and I get the idea of spatchcocking is you cut out the backbone, right, which is actually the part of the bird, whether it's turkey or chicken, that sits on the bottom of the plate, which is really kind of interesting because it's upside down. Really, the legs that are on top actually are the legs that they stand on. So the backbone, you're supposed to cut the backbone out, right? You cut out the whole spine, and then you break the sternum of the breastbone, and you lay it down. What this does, it actually exposes the meat more evenly so that as you're cooking it with heat, the cook will happen and you will have less chance of drying out. One of the big things about Thanksgiving that most people in America know very well is that turkey sucks, right? People are like, oh, turkey sucks. It's too dry. And most of the time it is too dry because if you use those little, like, so here in America, they sell you the bird, and a lot of the commercial producers will put these like little temperature thingies that pop out when it's done. So these are like, I guess, some things that's melting on the inside with a spring or something, and it pops open when it reaches like 175 degrees or whatever temperature it's set. But whatever temperature it's set for is meant to be a safe temperature so that you cannot, you know, introduce salmonella and other bacteria and you kill yourself. Because that's what the poultry guys are worried about. They're worried about, okay, we don't want you to get ill and then sue us and we lose money. We want to sell billions of birds and make a lot of money. And here's the thermometer thing, and it's going to be cooked, but it's going to be cooked all to hell. Power Plant says, I would usually roast a turkey upside down, which is probably meaning it's right side up. My father always smoked two birds for Thanksgiving, just simply on the Weber without wood. Peter, man, how are you? Good to see you. How are things down under? It's been a while, my man. It's been a while. So so the spatchcocking allows you to cook it more evenly, right? And you know, and try to get away from the whole dry bird for Thanksgiving. But I haven't really had a dry bird in many years because if you just pay attention to what you're doing, whether you're roasting or frying or whatever you want to do. You just need to like be attentive to what's happening. And so one of the basic rules of thumb is about for every pound of bird, you want to cook for about, well, no. Let me rewind that. That's for what I did this week. It's shorter. If the higher the temperature you go, the faster the cook. However, the problem with the higher temperature is that the higher temperature means that it can the water, the moisture evaporates more rapidly because of the greater heat being applied to it. And that's what causes the drying. So here, this is true with chicken, right? So you've got the breast, right? The breast doesn't have much fatty musculature, right? It's just muscle, right? The legs have fattiness in it. So you can take chicken legs, you can take turkey legs, and you can abuse them when you're cooking. You can just cook them, and you really, really have to. Let's put it this way: if you go to somebody's house and their thighs and legs are dry, they really worked very, very hard to get that to happen, because it is difficult. Like, for example, let's say cooking times, let's say like typical frying cooking time for chicken. I won't fry, breast, I'll fry for like maybe 12, 15 minutes at the most. Like 15 minutes is like, I'm getting scared, right? Thighs, 15 to 22 minutes. So you could fry them all together. And like, if you forget like your thigh, oh, my thighs, I forgot a little bit long. It's fine. It's going to be fine. But you go a little bit too long with your breast, you're kind of in trouble. So you just got to watch that, right? So because of that disparity in fatty content, you have to watch how you cook it. Now, if you go slower, like lower temperature, it becomes a lot more difficult to dry it out. Right? And so that this time, so you can go quick. Like one way to do it quick is to use a fryer. Right? So frying is like 15 minutes or 5 minutes. It turns out to be like for a 19-pound bird, I think we were doing like 45-minute fry times. And we're talking deep fat frying, right? Like deep fat immersion frying. Man, beautiful, beautiful. And then you use a thermometer to double check your breast temperature. And man, awesome. So that's a great way to go. If you decide to fry next year or anytime, here's a little pro tip for you. Get your oil, put it in the vat, heat up the temperature, get yourself a duck. Fry that first, and then take that duck out. Because the first time we did that many, many years ago, I was frying this duck. My sister-in-law was like, how about we fry a duck? Hey, let's fry a duck. So we fried a duck. I put the duck in, 5, 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later, whatever it was, took it out. And I noticed that, wait a minute. I put like 3 gallons of oil in this pot. There's more oil now than there was when I began. And, when you fry stuff, that never really happens. But I was like, and then I realized that, by frying the duck, it renders its own fat into the frying oil. So now you have peanut oil and duck fat oil. So I was like, there's duck fat. I was like, immediately, cut some potatoes. We're making French fries now. Oh, my goodness. Anton, so that's what's going on. Anton, good to see you. Praplan says, when I cook a turkey, it always comes out at 160 and comes to temp on the counter, as you should. Very good, very good. Naomi's with us. How are you, Naomi? How are things down in Arkansas? And Peter's been away. I hope that means that you've been on travel, on holiday, or working rather than been in the clink. But either way, we accept you no matter what happened. Praplan says, never do any prep with my turkey. Just let it sit on the counter for 2 hours and then rub with compound butter. Nice. The best turkey I had was one that was brined. Well, that's what I did. For this turkey, I brined it. So some years, if I'm roasting it, I'll do like a wet brine. So immerse it in like, water, salt, and like whatever aromatics. And I'm not very like, I'm not terribly scientific of it. I make a brine, some amount of salt, into some amount of water with maybe some, and just let it rock for like 2-3 days. This time, because it was smoky, I decided to smoke it this year. I took the bird. Actually, part of that decision because my friend Brian was like, "Hey man, are you smoking your bird this year? I could. He's like, well, if you do, man, can I ride along? I was like, sure, no problem, because I got a fairly large smoker, and I've smoked his birds before, and I've done smoking in the past, but I haven't done it in quite a few years. Lately, it's been frying and roasting. So it's one of those things where, because it's going to the smoker, I didn't want to have it to be too wet, so I took it and just basically dry brined it in the freezer and in the refrigerator. So I use something. I use a Korean salt, like the big Korean rock salt. I had a bag of it left over from I don't know when. I just found it in the closet. I was like, oh, here we go. This is the rock salt that I've been looking for, and it's the one that I bought at the Korean market. And I just kind of rubbed it all over, rubbed it in, and I just use I'm kind of judicious. Just use a lot, just whatever feels comfortable. Just put it on there, put it on a tray, put it in the refrigerator, and let it run. And like I did that for like 48 hours. I was actually going to do it for 72 hours, but I was lazy last Sunday and I didn't think about it. I was like, oh, Monday morning, I got to do it. So Monday morning is when I did it. Or maybe it's Tuesday morning. And that was it. And then from there into the smoker, 225, 250, 9 hours, and let it go. Because 15 minutes per pound, I think it was, or half an hour per pound. And it turned out to be like 9 hours. So I ended up starting it Wednesday night around, which would be early Thursday morning, was 1 a.m. So I came home. I was out somewhere Wednesday night. I was like, okay. Oh yeah, I was out with some friends, and I was like, I was at a party, and I was like, oh, gotta go, man. I gotta put the bird in the oven. So got home, fired up the smoker, tossed it in. This year, I typically use mesquite as the wood because I like the flavor of the mesquite, and it's very close to, in Hawaii we have something called keawe, and I like that keawe kind of flavor. Cool. Andrew's with us. Have a day to you, man. How are you doing? Power Plant says brining is a good safeguard for people, but it does introduce a bit of water to the carcass, which I think is all right, because I think that most people need that extra water to help try to keep them from drying the bird, right? It's like, Nobody says, I never cared for turkey, even when I did eat meat. I always tried to convince my family to eat something else. But the best one I had was deep fried. I mean, the deep fried. And I tell you, when you do it right, like when you get it right, man, it's brilliant. Like it is brilliant. Like I'm like, man. Of course, there was a year when I think maybe 2 years ago, I kind of went over too much. I was like, oh man. But I would say out of the last 10 years of cooking, maybe 12, maybe 15 years, last 15 years of making the turkeys, I have tried it once. And that was like 2 years ago. And I was like, I don't remember what happened, but I just push it out of my mind, push it out of my mind. Andrew says, turkey, the blandest of what, if you do it well, I mean, I promise you, do it. If I could share with you the turkey that I made, it would be, I think you would enjoy it. Anton says, here in Germany, we don't eat turkey, but the turkey prepares the dough. Yes. I was once in, I think it was 2008. I was on a flight. I was in Paris, and I was flying from Paris to home, and my stopover was in Frankfurt. And I'm sitting in the lounge waiting, and I go down to the gate, and they're like, "Oh, the flight has been canceled." Oh, man. So I ended up staying in a hotel that night. The airline put us up. And as I'm sitting at the airport, as I've had dinner, I meet this girl, man, beautiful girl from Virginia. Like, oh my God, man, who is it? She's like, I've been here quite a few times. I don't think she lived there or whatever. And she's like, let's go have some drinks. I'm like, I'll go wherever you want to take me. So we had a really beautiful night, It's like really, and then, but she took me to a place called Koyu Donor in a part of Frankfurt that I've gone to many times after because she took me there and I was like, oh. And so, but yeah, the donor is such a good. If you're not from a donor, it's kind of like a kebab or it's called doner kebab. It's kind of like a gyro, but better. I've been to a couple of places that say they do donors here in America. Not as good. Not as good. The Germans, the Turkish and Germans knows what they're doing, man. Kyori says, turkey isn't big in Thailand. Only one farm that has them here. People don't like the smell after cook. It does have a strange smell, I think, I guess. What I did like was when back in Hawaii, we used to, my friends would make one year for Thanksgiving, they made the emu and put the turkey in the emu. Oh my God, that was like, that was when I started to cover. I was like, oh my God, that's really good. But those who are not familiar, the emu is an in-ground oven, so it kind of steams it slowly over like 8, 10, 12 hours. So it's kind of like smoking, so it's very slow. And the nice thing about smoking is that you have a lot of time to correct. Like if you start too late, you're hosed. But then if you go over a little bit, you could be all right. Like when I went to pull my bird, I waited till like 10 a.m. and I walked out, opened the door, and I thought I had some more time left. I took my thermometer, I got one of those digital read thermometers, shoved it in the breast, and the first turkey, my turkey, was 171. I was like, son of a, because I really wanted to stop around 155, 160, somewhere around there. But at 171, I was like, oh man, I'm hosed. I'm hosed already. I shoved it in my friend's bird, 182, and I was like, oh God, even worse. Because his is the higher rack. But luckily, there's time. So, oh, Alabama, sorry. I know, go Bama, roll tide. I don't know why I thought that Arkansas. You can always get the expensive heritage turkeys, but they are actually more. Yes, absolutely. Everything properly grown is better tasting. Carrie says, some of my friends used to cook the turkey in an emu underground oven. You have to cook it in a cooking bag as it falls apart. It's really tender and juicy. That's what I like about that. Anton says, doner is even better than currywurst. I agree with that, actually 100%. And you can find it everywhere in Germany. A doner, yes. Yeah, doner. I thought you could find currywurst everywhere. I had currywurst once or twice, and it's okay for me. Like French fries, but the hot dog thing, I'm not a big hot dog guy, so I'm like, last thing I want is that. Baronwurst, yes, but hot dog. Doner, I'll go have doner. One thing that is nice about oven roasting is the skin, crispy skin on a well. Oh, that's for sure. All right, so what do we have for Thanksgiving? Well, normally we'll have things like this. This is the turkey. You zoom in a little bit so you can see. Here's the turkey. So we've got breast meat. These were smoked. These were smoked for 9 hours, and the skin it's not crisp at all. And then these are the thigh meat and the dark meat, and so everything. And then we have some like spiral cut ham, commercial spiral cut ham, because you know what, spiral cut ham is kind of fun. My brother also made some mashed potatoes. These are some of the classic items, but the problem with but everyone ate, that's all gone. I did tell them that they have to say reserve for me for this show my favorite stuffing. My sister-in-law makes this, and so this is what we do. I like, when I'm done with Thanksgiving, and I've been waiting since Friday to do this, because I was like, if I start to eat it on Friday, then I'm going to probably, but then again, I was in Philadelphia on Friday, so, but if I started to eat it, I would probably power through it and wouldn't have any content for today. So what we have today, we have our what is this called? Waffle makers. I've been letting it run. It's super hot. This is what you want. This is a Waring Pro commercial waffle maker. And actually, this was actually gifted to me by Waring many years ago, when we used to go to the Star Chefs trade show or conference. And the Star Chefs is a conference that happened every year. It stopped during the pandemic, and Antoinette, who runs the organization, she has decided not to resume, which is very disappointing. But my friend used to work for Waring, and they would give me a whole bunch of Waring stuff, and this is one of them. So I I was like super excited, and I've been using it ever since. And it's a really great piece of kit. There is a company there's a distributor in Pittsburgh. And now that I'm thinking about it, I can't remember the name, but there's this company that makes these Belgian waffle irons that are just like, man, they're immense. They're like the best ever made. I've used one once. I was like, man, if only I had a reason to buy a $2,000 waffle iron, that would be the one. All right, so let's have a look here. We've got our stuffing. So like I said, my sister-in-law made there's chestnuts in here, chestnuts, and breadcrumbs or bread croutons. Basically, this is kind of like a savory bread pudding. You've got your excess bread, and you've got you put broth and stuff like that. You put all that in there, and then you cook it. And it's called stuffing because before people would stuff this inside the cavity of the turkey. And that's when if you do that, you really have to cook it a long time because you're stuffing it now into a raw turkey. And if you don't cook it all the way through, then bacteria can thrive, and giardosis and all of that or salmonella, even worse. Giardosis, goes away after 24 hours. But salmonella could kill you. I think that's really why a lot of people start getting away from it. But all we're going to do is really simple. Now, I have a recipe down below in the description that's that's from different people. One's from Kenji Lopez Alt. The other one's from another recipe that I thought looked kind of interesting. But I do it just like this. I take the stuffing as is, and I just stuff it into the waffle iron. There's the one recipe that I read, kind of interesting. They put I think they put milk and eggs, and they made it they want to, have something to hold it together. But there's enough stuff in here that it will hold together. So you just got to put it in there and let it cook for as long as you want. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take this. Let's see. In America, it's most similar to shawarma. Yeah, but it's better than shawarma. But close to shawarma. But definitely better than gyros. I'm not a gyro fan. Mainly because it's I probably only had bad gyros. But in Canada, they have a lot of donor shops. Oh, I didn't know that. Busa says, oh yes, I remember you did that last year. I did this last year, or what did I do last year? Did we do this last year? Because if we did, then good times. In Mexico, the Lebanese brought the vertical roasting technique, and they invented tacos árabes, yes, which is my favorite. The tacos al pastor. All right, so let us get to so we're just going to take that. So there's the iron. It's been running for the last, I don't know, half an hour. It's longer than I would normally let it run for. So I'm just going to take, I probably should put some butter. Oh, well. I'm just going to shove it in here. This is a non-stick type of. Oh, goodness. We're not getting much success here. This is starting to dry out a little bit because it's been sitting in the oven for a while. Okay, now close it down. I'm going to lock it in place. All right, et voila. Now it's just going to sit there and do its thing. Now, while we're getting ready for this, if you're having Thanksgiving food, you should always have it with some gravy, right? Gravy. So gravy is kind of important. And I don't have any more gravy because everybody ate it. So I have to make some more fresh today. So what we're going to do is we're going to make some gravy. Oh, it's a little bit dirty. I didn't clean this since the last time we used it. Okay, that's good. That's good. So we've got our. Oops. Got this. We'll turn this on. I've not made this using cold stock, so I don't know what's going to happen, but we're going to find out what's going to happen because That's what we do here. So we're going to first of all, we're going to start off with some butter. What we're doing first to make a gravy is to make what's called a roux. And so the roux is what we're going to use to thicken the gravy. This is very classic kind of style. So we've got our butter. And I never measure. I just kind of go with the flow. Just kind of. And we're adding our flour here. The flour is what's the thickening agent. But in order to get out of the, that's probably too much. We just want to cook it till it turns a little bit brown. Now it's going fast, and I'm losing control of it. And now we're going to add oh yeah, we definitely need to add more. Because uh-oh. And it says it's turning. Let's see. What looks here? Oh, we're gonna go a little bit longer. Go a little bit longer. Oh, we lost our flame. There's a little bit of oil, I think, in the. I think we use a little bit more. As you can see, some of the broth has been gelatinized. All right, now that's good. That's good. I think that'll be good. Put this down over here. This is dangerous. All right, now we've got our oh, that's looking fairly decent. Okay. Can we get it out of there is the question. Maybe a little bit longer. I'm going to go a little bit longer. So we're going a little bit longer. And of course, we need coffee to go with this. So once this is done, I'm going to take it. Well, here's the thing. I only have one outlet here, so everything goes in one outlet. And when you have an 1800 watt waffle maker and an 1800 watt espresso machine, it's not a good idea to run them both at the exact same time, because if both heating elements kick in and start to draw, then it'll blow the breaker and then we'll have more delay. But that's all right. So I think I'm going to turn this off now, unplug that machine. Now I did heat the espresso machine for quite some time. It'll take a few moments for it to reheat again. But in this way, it's cascading. So we're going to take our portafilter and we're going to do some grinding. I haven't touched this since the last time we used it. So I'm just going to grind through a little bit of coffee. And for today, I'm going to make some presumptions. I'm going to presume that the grind will be relatively the same, which is a terrible presumption. And you can, I don't know if you can hear this through the microphone, but there's some boiling action happening because the espresso machine is heating up. You know, the temperature has been cascading down for the last like 20 minutes, half an hour or so. Power plant says stuffing that is not made in the turkey is called dressing. And Busa says those who want a great waffle maker, I highly recommend the Breville Sage Smart Waffle Pro. Oh, yeah, those Breville guys, they're really quite good at making nice quality appliances. Or possibly, we did this before. I wouldn't be surprised if we did it before. Anton says we also have excellent shawarma. I love getting shawarma yufka, which contains fries. I don't know what yuppie sauce is, but the fries, I like the idea of fries. Actually, I like the ideas of fries. And there was actually a place in the Philippines, in Manila, many, many years ago in the 90s, that my friend Elira took me to. And they did that, fries and the shawarma, which is good. But I think I like fries, and I think they do that also in Saudi Arabia. But I think I like fries better on the side because, you know, like there's a place in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania called Primanti Brothers, and that's their big thing. These like big sandwiches that have French fries in them. And you think about it, you're like, oh yeah, that sounds awesome. But then the problem is that when you put them all in the sandwich, it all kind of gets mushed together as you're holding it. So you don't get that textural juxtaposition, which is the pleasure that I really enjoy. But I'm not poo-pooing any of that. PowerPoint says, Breville is great. I had the Cuisinart ones that lets you cook 2 waffles at once. Ooh, very nice. Andrew says, turkey drippings, butter, and giblets make the best Thanksgiving, keeps jumping, item to go on the second best item, chestnut dressing. Oh, that sounds good. Yeah, this is actually the drippings from the smoker. So what I do is I put a pan of butter and stock beneath the turkeys as they're smoking. So the smoke, I guess, gets into the broth, and then all the drippings fall into this hotel pan that catches it all. PowerPoint says, I also love making sandwiches for leftovers from Thanksgiving. Agreed. And I can't believe it's already December. I know, right? It's crazy. 2025, so I flew by. Here's the thing. It takes, I found that as I've gotten older, the years go by faster and faster. So yes, I totally hear you on that. Okay, so how do we do this? Let me see if I can jump this around a little bit more. Okay, let's go here. And so here's our espresso setup. Let's pull our shots. We're gonna make we're just gonna make an Americano. We're gonna go straight for it. We're just gonna go for it because it's time to eat, right? Now, normally I would not recommend pulling your water from your boiler, but today, since the heater has been used for something else, we're just gonna go for it. All right, so there's our, a little bit low there, come around. All right, this is how you do it when you're a pirate, because there's no testing. We're just going to go for it and see what happens. Will we be rewarded or will we be punished? Punishment is probably in order. Uh-oh. Punishment is definitely on order today. Yeah, that's punishment. Not too good. All right, but we're just looking for coffee. We're not looking for a lot of. We're just looking for an accompaniment. That's what I'm going to say. We're looking for an accompaniment, and let's see here. I let the residual heat run. Hopefully, we can take this out now. I do remember that now, Busa. I wonder if I haven't. I wonder if it's been that much years since I used this waffle iron. All right, so here's our waffles. Here's our turkey. What we're going to do is we're going to get the our gravy, and the gravy you can use on top of the waffles, right, like that. We'll try a little bit there, and definitely on top of your turkey, like thus. And then one thing you also want to have with your traditional Thanksgiving is cranberry sauce. Now, this is just a cranberry orange chutney that I have. I don't really eat cranberry sauce, so I'll just put a little bit of that there. But it's a reasonable stand-in. And that's kind of like your somewhat pseudo-traditional Thanksgiving meal. Right? So let's see about this waffle. Now, with this is more of a savory waffle. You could, like, if you wanted, you could put powdered sugar on it, or you could put maple syrup. I think maple syrup is a good way to go. But let's see what it tastes like. The nice thing what I like about this is going to give some crisp. Like, look at that. I like to burn it. Plain, it definitely needs something. But man, that's all right. This might be lunch as well. Maybe with a little bit of Now, what about with a little bit of cranberry sauce? Like that. All right, that cranberry thing is a nice stand-in if you don't happen to have syrup. Actually, that's really nice. And then let's try our Americano. Oh, not bad, not bad. Would have liked to have better crema. Booster says they have a Promonti Brothers on Nursery Road in Linthicum. I saw that. I was there a couple weeks ago, and I saw that. I was like, ooh. But every time, there's also one in York, Pennsylvania that I drive by, and I was like, but every time I'm there, or anytime I drive by those two locations, it's like I'm never in a meal time or position to have a meal or have the time to go get a meal. So I was like, oh, man. Anton says, got to be fries outside, inside and out. Absolutely. And Power Plant says, French fries are the bomb. OG, speaking of which, I was in Nutty Diner Coffee. Oh, okay, gotcha. What coffee is it? I was in Philadelphia, and my friend Anthony Rue, who owns Volta Coffee in Gainesville, Florida, was in town. I saw him post on his Facebook. He's like, I'm doing something in Philly. I was like, what are you doing in Philly? He's like, I'm here to see a concert. I was like, hey, man, I'm in town. Let's get together. So we met up at they have a Christmas market in downtown Philadelphia. And so we met up there and we're walking around. It's kind of nice. It's kind of like the German Christmas markets that you see. And a little bit small, meaning that then the aisles are a bit narrower, but a nice feel, nice style. And there was this place, Belgian fries, and I was like, oh, Belgian fries, all right, good. Now, I'm not one who's going to complain about fries most of the time, especially when you do nice cut fries, double fried, so they're beautifully crisp. I mean, honestly, if we're talking like G-Pod 70 Idaho potatoes, these fries were actually awesomely prepared. Like, they're excellent. Like, they're done very well. Double fried, perfectly crisp, piping hot, just beautiful flavor. I don't know what is with these Philly people, man. They like to put this red powdery stuff on it. It's just ridiculous. I'm like, what is that? Lose that and just stay with the salt, baby. That's their thing. I don't get it. Like you go to the Hershey Park, they got this whole like. Anyway, forget that. So I'm not complaining about that. But if you're going to say Belgian fries, then at least cut the French fries like the Belgians do. I know we can't get the same varieties of potatoes here in the United States, but at least cut the fries in the same way. Like if you go to Belgium and you have frites, from a friture, it's very different than what we have here. That's good. Paige says, I've been to the original Primanti in PGH, and I just, all right. That was my response too. The first time I went there, like way back in the early 90s, I was like, all right, cool, let's check it out. Like, all right. I mean, the bread, okay, and I don't know, like the bread that they use is this very soft, spongy Italian roll. They cross-cut it, which I think is a great bread in and of itself. But I wonder, is it too spongy for the sandwich? I don't know. The only other time most Americans will eat a fruit jam with gravy is at IKEA. That's true. I was at IKEA on Friday as well. I was at IKEA. I stopped by looking at induction burners. They have one for $75. Looks fairly good. Exactly. Right on the right side of 83. Andrew says mint jelly with lamb at Easter. Oh, that's a good point. Anton says, hot take, my friend, favorite kind of fries are medium, thin, with that super salty paprika season. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Like, so maybe I don't get it because, how I learned about it. We were in Hershey Park earlier this year, and they had this Philadelphia French fry joint that had a vendor booth there. And they were like Maryland style fries or something like that, ocean fries or whatever. And here in Maryland, we put something called Old Bay, which is very particular paprika type of seasoning. Crab fries, what they called it. I don't know what in the world that was, but basically just paprika. And I was like, these Philadelphia people, they just don't know. All right, that's good enough for me to put more gravy on here. I'm going to slather that on there like this. Now, one of the bites around the world, I think you may call it, you should try is Oops. There we go. That's the whole deal, right? The whole meal, Thanksgiving meal right there. Now, here in Maryland or Pennsylvania, this area, we have a place called Wawa, and Wawa makes a sandwich called the Gobbler that has all of this in the sub. Kind of messy, but pretty good. All right, that's pretty good. That is pretty good. Oh, man. All right, so now one of the holiday meals in America are not finished without dessert, right? So the ubiquitous dessert for Thanksgiving is something called pumpkin pie. My nephew is really into pumpkin pie. And I might have mentioned this on the live stream, but I was going to make a pumpkin pie for him because I have a pumpkin that's going to chop up and roast and then grind it down. But then my nephew wanted to make one, so he made one. And so we're going to have that. Here it is, pumpkin pie. And, you're basically You basically make a custard with the pumpkins, and now typically you're going to put things like Cool Whip or some kind of whipped cream, which I really like, or maybe an ice cream. Unfortunately, I have none of those here today. We didn't even have that during Thanksgiving, so I was like, what am I thinking? But this is a typically. I don't know if he. I'm pretty sure he used a can. Woo! But let's see. It is missing the milk component. And while it's nice to use a fork, I just like to pick it up and eat it like this, right? Because it's just so much easier to sit there and just be like, Now, as I was preparing to come down to set up today, and I was cutting this slice out, I was like, I'm thinking, I don't know if you might have noticed, but there's actually a slate of shows already lined up on the schedule. Highly unusual for me, but I was thinking, you know what? Maybe I'll push Wednesday's show a day off, and then pumpkin spice latte. Something like that. Maybe. But it's a nice combination with the coffee. Actually, at this point, I wish I had made a larger coffee. Jay Ortegas is with us. Good morning to you. Proplan says, Angelo's in Philly has the best pizza and cheesesteaks in the city. Very rare to get two dishes at a small shop. Ooh, I've not heard of Angelo's. I finally made it to D'Alessandro's on Friday night. After I left my friends, I was like, I looked up on my phone. I was like, wow, that's only about 10 minutes away. I run up there. Very good cheesesteaks. Booster says, yes, I've been there as well. I'm from Eastern Ohio, so it wasn't far from me. Oh, nice. Wait a minute. What are we talking about? Did I miss something here? Oh, Andrew says, a diner open-faced turkey sandwich covered in gravy. One of my favorite comfort foods, and don't forget the wet fries. Oh, yes. Paige says, I don't feel like making gravy from scratch. But, the reason I did it here right now from scratch was because I want to encourage people that it's not that difficult. It's really quick. It only takes a moment, especially if you already have your broth. And while this is the drippings of the turkey, you can use chicken broth. God, you could even use water and bouillon, or just water by itself. I mean, the water is not going to be the greatest. I mean, don't use the water. That would be just terrible. But any chicken broth will work. Well, And the nice thing about it is, unlike opening a can of Heinz turkey gravy, you don't have to eat all of it, and you don't have to waste it. Just make whatever you want. Just make a little bit. It's perfectly fine. PowerPoint says, cheap induction burners are great for keeping things warm, like gravy. Agreed. And Viva says, have you ever had sweet peppers on the pizza or cheesesteak? That I've only seen. So in sweet peppers. At D'Alessandro's, they gave me red pickled peppers. A little bit spicy. I don't recall having sweet peppers. In Chicago, at the beef shops, they give you giardiniera, which is kind of, but it's also it's like a variety of vegetables, I think, that are pickled and spicy. Paige says, I went to Wawa every single day while traveling to PA. Did you get the gobbler? Get the gobbler? Kerry says, there was a tasty freeze in Waianae that had crinkle cut fries with mustard mayonnaise sauce. Oh, that's so nice. My introduction was like nicely cut double fried fries from this diner, little teeny tiny diner on Ford Avenue in South Baltimore, across the street from my best friend's house, who passed away a few years back. And we sat there one day and they brought us gravy fries. I was like, oh my God. It was like a revelation for me. Paige says I had a gobble bowl Friday because I guess I hadn't have. That's epic, man. That's so epic. PowerPlan says I like the Chicago pickle pepper relish called Jardiniera. It's called Jardiniera. Very tasty when spicy. Andrew says hitting the Bethesda Tasty Diner for my open-faced turkey sandwich smothered in gravy and wet for. Oh man, you're going to have a cigar today? It's Monday. People got to work. Making me tempted. PowerPlant says, so just you can go to those diners, Greek diners on the East Coast. Yeah, but you know what? Okay, but the thing is that you have, well, we may have the diners. You also have like those tonkatsu places that you can go to that I wish we had here. Paige says that those other spicy, sours, pickles are all I've had until going to a pizza place near my boyfriend's hometown. They have sweet pickle bell green peppers that aren't sour. Huh. I haven't tried that. Jar is quite wet and a bit pickled. They usually serve it with a beef sandwich, which is my favorite beef sandwich is Al's. Al's beef in Philadelphia, in Chicago. To me, that's the one. That's the one. I tried, and when I was there, the last trip I was there, I did a tour of all of these places. I went even to the one where what's the TV show that's shot there at Mr. Beef? You know what I'm talking about. But for me, Al's is the best. Al's the best. I haven't tried that diner yet, but it's on the list now. Ooh, Bethesda Tasty Diner. How says at In-N-Out, they have a hot little pickled peppers, so good with a cheeseburger. Oh, yeah. That's right. I forgot about that. It's been so long since I've been to In-N-Out. All right. Well, that is kind of like, this is my favorite treat for Thanksgiving is the stuffing waffles. I encourage you, if you have stuffing, to try it. Get yourself a waffle iron, or if you don't have a waffle iron, maybe even just get a pan. Maybe get 2 pans, right? Heat up the pan, put some butter, put the stuffing in, take another pan, put it on top to press it down, let it sizzle, then flip it over. And that'll give a reasonable facsimile to this. You don't necessarily need to have a waffle iron. Waffle irons help. Waffle irons make it cool, but it's not totally necessary. Booster says, I smoked my first ever cigar this year. It was a Perdomo and loved it. Oh, awesome, man. Awesome. There was a movie many years ago. This ties in with Naomi. The USS Alabama was leaving port out of Pearl Harbor. The captain and the XO were standing on the bridge. The XO's their first outing, right? Captain Ramsey gives his XO a nice Monte Cristo No. 2 cigar, and they're smoking on the bridge, which is outside of on top of the mast, right? Smoking. Captain Ramsey's talking whatever he's talking. Lieutenant Commander Hunter says nothing. I just sit there smoking, trying to enjoy his. He's like, what do you think about that cigar? He's like, it's good. It's good. It's like, be careful. They're more expensive than drugs. And that's true. So be careful there, Busa. It is more expensive. I have found it to be more expensive than drugs. I remember one year when they first started to do the marijuana thing. I was in Colorado for a wedding. This is how many years ago? This is years ago. This is not too many years ago, but years ago now. I was there for my friend's wedding. She was getting married. So I'm there. Marijuana's legal. It's like, marijuana's legal. So let me go check it out. So I went down to to the dispensary. I was like, how can I buy marijuana? And they're like, oh, we sell it by the joint. I was like, really? You buy it by the joint? I said, well, what do you have? He said, we got all these flavors, all these like experiences. Like, what? Crazy. So I bought 2 different types of joints, $10 each, like 1 gram joints, $20. So every night at the hotel, I was there for like 5 days. I would sit out by the balcony, and then go to bed. But during that time there, I'm also going to cigar shops. So every day, 1 or 2 cigar shops, at least one, go in, have a cigar, $10, $15, $20, $15, whatever it was. I spent $60 in cigars versus $20 in pot. It's like, man, so much more expensive than pot. Russell's with us. What's going on, Russell? I like the cheesesteak at Tommy Denique's. Oh, I've not even heard of that place. I will look for it. Kelly said, interesting that I was living in Hawaii. I never noticed it, but since living in Thailand, whenever I visit the U.S., regardless of where, the food is really salty. Well, I think that's because they use less salt in other parts of the world and maybe other flavorings to pop the flavor. That does make sense. Booster says, Tommy Denique's roasted pork and broccoli Rob. Oh, that sounds good. The only sandwich I had like that was the one by the stadiums. Taylor pork roll. Was it Taylor? Is it Taylor's? That was good. I thought that was good. Oh, and tobacco leaf. Oh, man, good times, man. Good times at tobacco leaf. Raul, the owner, has been an old friend of mine. He's an old friend of mine now. And Howplan says, need that Cooper Sharp cheese. Oh, that sounds good too. Andrew says, most commercial food in the U.S. and produce is sad, resulting in over-salting and cooking. I hear you. And I've often wondered, like we've talked about this, like with my chef friends, and they're like, because some of my chef friends are very much into like local sourcing. And I like local sourcing, but it's like, I also wonder if we think about America, just America by itself, almost 350 million people. If everybody eats 3 meals a day, that's 1 billion meals per day. And you think about that, it's like that's a staggering amount of food. And this is just one country, right? The entire world is what, 8 billion people times 3, 24 billion meals a day. Like, how is it even possible we're able to produce the food per day? It's like, and that's what I that. And so I was like, now my friends who are really into ag and stuff like that, they say that we can change and do local agriculture to support that. I don't know how, but they say so. I don't know. Or Merck's cheddar, so good. I've not tried that. My buddy gave me a humidor. Oh no, see, that's bad news. I personally like at Tobacco Leaf. I like Roma Craft cigars, and they also have Stolen Thrones. I think the Stolen Thrones Crook of the Crown Robusto is a great smoke. But when I tell you the cigars that I like, I would have to offer a word of caution because I've been doing it for quite a long time. So my tastes are different than they were when I probably started. And I can enjoy, maybe I like a little bit heavier cigar. Like, don't get me wrong, I can still get like ill feeling. Like the other day when we were at Capitol with Andrew a couple weeks ago, Payam gave me this Davidoff Churchill late hour. Man, I was like brutalized. I was brutalized by that. And I have an hour drive home. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna drive home. It's like terrible. The other night I was at my friend's house on Thanksgiving night. We were at my friend's house smoking. And my last cigar night, he gave me this My Father, one of the rare My Fathers. I don't remember which one it was, but man, again, I drove home and I was ill. I was really like ill, like too much nicotine. So yeah, Fuentes are good. Yeah, Fuentes are good. Fuente like regular label, great place to start as well to augment what you're having. But here's the thing: like, while the humidor is a great thing to have, and to like, my friends all have rather extensive collections. Like, some guys are super hardcore, like, and he's got like incredible amounts of cigars. I'm just like, dude, how I don't say this to him, but I'm like, I wonder to myself, like, even for myself, like, how will I smoke this before I'm dead? Right? How do I consume these before I'm dead? Like, I could smoke every day, and for 2 days, 2 times a day, and I wonder, will I be able to consume it all before I die? So one of my other good friends, Scott, I think he's the one that's like doesn't have a collection. I think he's the smartest of us all. Like, he buys a few cigars, puts it in he's got a little desktop humidor. He never fills it. He just puts a few at a time, restocks it, and smokes it. Oh, his cigars are always fresh. He never has to worry about, like, do I need to maintain the right conditions? Do I need to do this? Do I need to rotate? Do I need to do all this other stuff? None of that. I think he's the smartest of the group. So if I can offer you one bit of advice, and the other thing I tell my friends at Tobacco Leaf, I am always significantly impressed at the amount of tequila they can consume in a night and not be affected. I'm just like, wow, man, this is amazing. Like, I can't hang with those guys. I'm like, I can't hang with you guys. Like, the level of tequila drinking is just, and the breadth and range of tequilas is like, this is some beautiful stuff. But man, I can't do a bottle in an evening and then be functional in any sense of the word. Like, these guys are hardcore. Papa asked, does all smoking tobacco have beetle eggs in it? I mean, there's the potential for beetle eggs. I'm not really sure if they would say if the tobacco is well processed, correctly processed, then that eliminates the beetles typically. Now, there's always the possibility that there can be. And so if you do come across a cigar that has a borehole in it, you should at best practice would be to discard it. But if you're talking about a cigar that's anywhere between $10 to $20+ per piece stick, you don't necessarily want to get rid of it. If you do smoke it, it could be like the berry borers. It can affect the way that cigar performs. It could affect a little bit of the flavor. But what you could do, let's say, but if you don't want to if you're not willing to throw it away, you could freeze the cigars. So freeze them for like 72 hours, let them thaw naturally, and then rehydrate in a humidor, and then that should have killed the beetles. But nowadays it's very rare to see. I haven't seen beetles in 10, 12. I don't know if Andrew's seen one of beetles, but I haven't seen it in a long time. Oh, no, all wheat flowers and rice have weevil eggs in it. It just needs environmental factors to hatch. I know when I lived in Honolulu, that happened a lot. I'm a beginner, so I need something like, that's why I'm saying stay with the Arturo Fuente core line. Just the one that has the bands that have a little bit of green at the bottom of the band. Those are always very nice. But ask Raul, ask oh no, what's and the guys there, especially the manager whose name for some reason I can't remember at the moment. The Egyptian guy, case of Egypt, but those guys, they all know their stuff. So you can ask any of them that work there. If Mary doesn't work there anymore, but if anyone that works there will know, they'll be great guides for you. They'll be great guides for you. Power Plant says, if you want a good tequila to impress your friends, bring them a bottle of Gran Centenario Añejo. Oh, do I think I have that here? I don't think I have anything like that. I don't have any awesome tequilas. I have what are meant to be impressive tequilas, like the Clase Azul, which I find to be very sweet now. I'm like, oh, it's very sweet. It's very sweet, but kind of fun. All right. Well, great to see all of you. Be back again tomorrow. We are going to be back again tomorrow because I've got a episode planned. We're going to be doing something called Simple Fried Ensaimada. which is a traditional Filipino pastry that I'm kind of, it's kind of difficult to make, but we're going to find a way to make it a little bit simpler. So it's a sipping tequila, not a shooter. Gotcha. And Bruce says the staff was great and helped me select my very first one. Oh, good. Yeah, they're very good there. Bibinka, no. Ensamada. If you look on the channel, I think it's already listed. It should be listed, but you'll see. And if you want to preface for tomorrow, you can always there's some recipes you can read in case you want to do homework. I don't know why you want to do that, but kind of fun. All right, well, thanks for hanging out with me. Always good to see all of you. It's always been good, and I'm always honored by you spending the time here. Back again tomorrow with another episode of the Coffee Q&A, and yeah, see you next time.